Welcome to Code Catch Up. My name is Jamie Jones, and in this episode, we're going to be talking about NPM version 5. Now, this was recently released, and it's something that kind of been waiting for a long time, and it is quite a big release. So there's some things in here that do kind of conflict with Yarn, which is what the community's kind of moved to. More on that toward the end of this episode. But what I want to go over is just like a quick headline of the features, then go over the real main reasons why you want to use NPM version 5 and kind of why it's going to be there regardless going forward. So first of all, it's bundled into Node.js version 8. So when you install Node.js version 8, like a new install, it will come with NPM version 5. So you kind of got it there from the get-go. Now there's a lot of new features here, and it's a lot around basically how the community's kind of shifted how they use NPM. So when NPM was first written, it was written in a way that the community was using kind of module managers back then, and those kind of needs have changed over time, and that's where we've seen like the introduction of Yarn, and NPM is addressing that directly. So new features, there's a new standardized lockfile feature meant for cross-package manager compatibility, so it's a package-lock.json file, and a new format and semantics for shrinkwrap, which shrinkwrap's been around for a while, but there's just a new format for that and updated semantics. So this lock file is really, really important. And this is mainly where we've seen Yarn come across. The main thing is actually having a lock file, so you know that all your dependencies are going to be exactly the same every time you install. So that's an interesting point there and something that they've done. Next is the -- save or -- save is no longer necessary. So all installs will be saved by default. You can prevent saving with -- no - save. Installing optional dev dependencies is unchanged. So that's a really important one to note there. And I think it's definitely necessary to have that in there by default, because 9 times out of 10, you do want to save those dependencies. Installing a package directly now ends up creating a symlink and quote unquote does the right thing as far as saving to and installing from the package lock goes. If you have a monorepo, this might make things much easier to work with and probably a lot faster too. Similar but a bit different to how kind of Yarn does this. I might just compare Yarn as we go. Next thing is project level or top level preinstall scripts now run before anything else, and they can modify node modules folder before the CLI reads it. This just saves, if you're doing anything with pre-install scripts, this is really just going to make life a lot easier in general for you. 2 new scripts have been added, pre-pack and post-pack, which will run on both NPM pack and NPM publish, but not on NPM install without arguments. So really, really important to anyone who's working with Node modules and creating and publishing them. It's good to see. Next up is a couple things with Git. So we've got Git dependencies will prepare scripts will now have their dev dependencies installed and their prepare scripts executed as if under NPM pack. Git dependencies now support Semver-based matching, which is really important. Next up, now this is how I've always said it, but Node.js, so it's Node-gyp. If you do know there's a proper pronunciation, please let me know in the comment section, send me a tweet, etc. But yeah, that's just how I've always said it. So Node.js now supports Node.js.cmd on Windows. So I'm sure for Windows users, this is going to be a fantastic thing. I'm not too sure what this kind of caused or what issues it had on Windows, but I'd really love to know. So send through a tweet to @CodeCatchup on Twitter, email to codecatchup@gmail.com, or leave a comment on YouTube or on codecatchup.com and let me know. Next is NPM no longer blasts your screen with a whole installed tree. Now this one I absolutely love. Like, it's not a huge feature, but it's really, really nice. Basically, if you're working with big projects, this was really a big problem because you have to scroll so far back up to see if there's anything. So now it basically gives you a real simple summary report. So I'll say like added 125, removed 32, updated 148 and moved 5. And then it'll give you a time that it took to do all those actions, which is really, really nice. Really happy to see that one in there quite a lot. Probably a lot more than nearly some of the other top features. So next up is cache rewrite. Now this could really be a whole episode in itself. So just check out the links in the show notes to the blog post there, and it'll go through everything because there's quite a lot that's gone into it and a lot of reasoning and things like that, explanations. So check that one out there. So key features, basically NPM at latest, install that globally, and you're off to the races. Next thing is speed. So speed really is a big thing for it. Basically, they're saying here we've reworked the package metadata, package download, and package caching. And this has sped things up significantly. In general, expect performance improvements of 20 to 100%. I've also seen some installations and version bumps that run 5 times faster. Like, that's pretty huge, especially if for some reason you have to wipe out your Node modules folder and reinstall it, or you need to pull down a project and you've got similar dependencies. It's really going to be a lot quicker. Next up, which is probably the biggest headline feature, is the default lock files. So they've got here, shrinkwrap has been part of NPM for a long time, but NPM 5 makes lock files the default. So all NPM installs are now reproducible. The files you get when you install a given version of a package will be the same every time you install it. We've found countless common and time-consuming problems can be tied to the drift that occurs when different developer environments utilize different package versions. With default lock files, this is no longer a problem. You won't lose time trying to figure out a bug, only to learn that it came from people running different versions of a library. Now, this is one of the big things with Yarn and what's come along, and I really want to know what's going to happen. It's just something I'm going to have to see. Will people stop using Yarn, or will they keep using Yarn because it's more independent from NPM? I'd really love to know your thoughts on this. Leave a comment in the comment section if you're on YouTube here. Or leave a comment on codecatchup.com, send through an email, codecatchup@gmail.com, or leave a tweet at codecatchup on Twitter. I'd really love to know what your thoughts are on the whole Yarn versus NPM thing now that a lot of these features are kind of in parity. Next thing is SHA-512 hashes, security, really important, as well as corruption. So NPM 5 adds support for any tarball hash function supported by Node.js. It publishes with SHA-512 hashes. By checking all downloaded packages, you're protected against data corruption and malicious attacks, and you can trust that the code you download from the registry is consistent and safe. Now, kind of touching on that as well, is it's got a self-healing cache. So our new caching is wicked fast, but it's also more resilient. Multiple NPM processes won't corrupt a shared cache, and NPM 5 will check data on both insertion and extraction to prevent installing corrupted data. If a cache entry fails an integrity check, NPM will automatically remove it and refetch. This is a really good feature, and these things happen from time to time, whether it be from a package because of a network issue, things like that. It's really great to see that. It's just basically removing some headaches that can catch you out a little bit later. It's really nice to see there. So that's essentially all I've really got for this episode. I'd love to know your thoughts on, are you excited about NPM 5? Are you installing that straight away? What's your thoughts on that? Also, what's your thoughts on Yarn? Do you think this is kind of like a Yarn killer? Do you think it still makes Yarn kind of applicable and necessary? I'd really love to know your thoughts. Please leave a comment in the comment section for whether you're watching this on YouTube or on codecatchup.com. You can send through a tweet to me at codecatchup on Twitter, or you can also send an email to codecatchup@gmail.com. But that's essentially it for this one. If you do have a spare few moments, I'd really appreciate a rating and review on iTunes. That would be awesome. But that's essentially it. If you haven't checked out the YouTube channels, please do check it out and give a like to the videos and also subscribe. Other than that, we'll see you in the next one. Bye.